When should humanitarian intervention override non-interference principles? Imagine a situation where millions of innocent people are suffering under a brutal regime. Would the world stay silent or step in to help? That's the core question behind humanitarian intervention and the limits of respecting a country's sovereignty. When do moral duties to protect human rights take precedence over the idea that countries should not interfere in each other's internal affairs? In most cases, the principle of non-interference is a key part of international law. It protects countries from outside meddling in their internal politics. But this principle isn't absolute. When a government commits mass atrocities like genocide, ethnic cleansing, or widespread war crimes, the world faces a moral dilemma. Should the international community turn a blind or act to stop the suffering? The main reason to override non-interference is the ethical obligation to protect fundamental human rights. When a government fails to safeguard its people or actively harms them, intervention can be seen as a duty to uphold human dignity. The responsibility to protect, or RTP, is an evolving norm that states sovereignty comes with responsibilities. If a country neglects or abuses its population, the international community has a duty to step in, ideally through organizations like the United Nations. Legitimacy is also important. For intervention to be justified, it should be authorized by legitimate international bodies. The United Nations Security Council can approve military actions under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter when international peace and security are at risk. This helps ensure that intervention is not driven by political or military interests but by a genuine concern for human rights. Another reason is the threat to regional or global stability. Humanitarian crises often cause refugee flows, destabilize neighboring countries, or threaten international peace. In such cases, intervention might be necessary to prevent wider chaos. Even if the affected government does not consent, intervention can be justified if it's clear that the government is the source of the abuses or is unable to protect its people. Practically, international law allows for collective military action without the consent of the state when the United Nations Security Council deems it necessary. But the intervention must be impartial and not used as a cover for political or military gains. Respecting sovereignty is important, but not when gross human rights violations are involved. In summary, humanitarian intervention should override non-interference when there is clear evidence of large-scale suffering caused or tolerated by the state, when the state cannot or will not protect its people, and when authorized by legitimate international bodies. This balance between ethics and politics is vital to uphold justice and protect vulnerable populations worldwide.